The woods can be dense for our acts. The sea can be deep for our diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Galley meeting in 45 minutes, so I don't know. Well, I have plenty of time. So I usually open the meeting about 15 minutes early, but I'm usually the only one there for a little while, which is fine. Because of the earlier trudge, I decided to expand on this a little bit more. I don't have I have PTSD, but it is C-PTSD, which stands for complex. And what that means is that I was not in any wars. That's what that means. I'm not a veteran. So it's different. Why they call it complex, I don't know. I think they just do that to I don't know. It makes me feel worse though. It's like, well, no, Dion, you don't have PTSD. You have C-PTSD. That's what they said. I tell people I have PTSD. No, Dion. I have depression. I don't have just depression. I have severe depression. I don't have anxiety. I have acute anxiety. So I'm going to go do introductions. I'm going to tell you what my life was like. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. We're going to be talking about, some of the things that we usually don't talk about in meetings today. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching live or the rewatch. But these are things that we go through. To think that we have put ourselves in dangerous situations and, seeking companionship and approval in sordid places, to think that we came out of this scot-free, growing up in alcoholic and abusive families, being traded around the family for alcohol and drugs and money. Right? So, when did it start? Well, I have no idea, but I do know that my PTSD stems from when my parents decided to abandon me and put me in a place called Mount Airy Psychiatric Center. That's what did it. I never really felt like a part of anyway. So when I was put apart and said, no, you belong, growing up, I was with the, I had to have, I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say my S's. So they deemed me retarded. That's what we called it back then. Right? And they put me in the special ed class. I was already bored. I wasn't stupid. I just was, I don't know. I just didn't want to do what you wanted me to do. I cannot tell you any friends that I had in grade school because I didn't have any. Okay? I don't have any long-term friends. See, in my life, everybody goes away. It's always been that way. Happens to me in recovery too. Sometimes I meet people and I think, they say they love me. Oh, Dion, you're such an inspiration. And then I give them 2 months. I'm probably not going to hear from them again. Because see, once things start to get real, I may help you that one time. You feel good. You're going to come back the next time. And maybe it's not going to be as pretty. If you come to me for an answer, I'm going to fucking give you one. And it's probably, it's going to be the truth. But I'm going to ask you, am I right on this stuff? So I'm going to use live action role play. And let me kind of explain live action role play real quick. For those of you that don't know, we kind of call it cosplay now, but do you remember back in the 90s, people would be out in the park beating each other up with big boffer swords, and you see them doing stuff or whatever. That was us. And my friend and I had written a whole system. Took us a couple of years. Wrote a whole system on how to run a live action role playing game. All right. Yes, I've written books. Done a lot of stuff. All right. And, I would have to, let's say we had people sign up with their player characters. People know what a player character is now, as opposed to an NPC, right? I had plenty of NPCs. But let's say out of the 100 people coming, 20 of them are going to be PCs. Well, I'm going to need to come up with a storyline for 20 people. I'm going to have to run it all weekend. And what's going to happen during that weekend is they are not going to follow the path that I wanted them to, and the story's going to change on me. I used to love this. I found this challenge. Oh, I've loved it because it would turn into really cool things that I didn't imagine, right? And I did this easily in my sleep. It was third nature to me, second nature to me, right? I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was 9. I don't need any of the books. Just give me a set of dice. Give me a set of dice and a piece of paper. We can play Dungeons and Dragons. The rest of it's made up, my friends. Make it up. It's a world of make-believe. And I had a very vivid imagination. Yay. I've been looking for this vivid imagination for a couple of years now because it's not where it was. And that has to do with my duloxetine and why I'm trying to get off of it. It has impaired me. That has impaired me, right? Now, when I try and do the simplest task, it is the most arduous thing in the world. Okay? Let's use this room as an example. I'm going to give you a little tour. All right? Looks all nice and pretty, right? But if you look around, and it's not that bad, okay? There's stuff on the floor, things like that. I don't live like this at all. I don't live like this, okay? And it gets frustrating. But then I look at that, and then I look at my board and everything I need to do, and then we go down the hallway, and then and it starts to become overwhelming for me, and then I can't do anything. Literally, I can't do anything. It takes all of my willpower to just get off my butt and go have a cigarette. I am used to me being a certain way, and it's very frustrating when I cannot find those parts of my personality that I used to utilize in the things that I did. What is another thing PTSD does to you? It wears you out. It wears you out. Okay. Now, I'm going to kind of use a weird example of this. When I used to install phone switches, I didn't have to use my brain much. I mean, installing a phone switch, right? It's pretty, I can do it. And I do that and work my ass off, and I go out, party all night, get up in the morning, go do it again. Okay. But when I got into sales, that changed. By the time I got home, my brain was dead beat. I did not want to go out. I drank at home instead. I still drank, don't get me wrong. Okay. But I did not party all night. I was in bed by 10, 11 o'clock. Okay. PTSD, anxiety, ADHD, these things that create things that are hyperactivity, kill your dopamine in a matter of minutes. See, I have to be very, I talk about excitement a lot and that I can't get excited. Part of it is because then I will use up all of my dopamine and then I'll go to bed. There won't be anything left. Right? My brain will tell me people are full of shit. I get in. I don't get as many intrusive thoughts, and they're not just judgmental thoughts. They're wanting to hurt somebody thoughts. This is why men don't like to speak up about their PTSD. Okay. It scares me when I'm like that. I scare myself because I don't know what I'm going to say. I mean, this is literally how it is. I will want to tell my wife I love her, but it will come out fuck off. Okay. It's almost like a form of Tourette's. I sleep too much because of my nightmares. Okay. So when I wake up what goes on in my nightmares is this. Number one, I'm always drunk. I'm always drunk, and that's why everybody hates me. But, well, I don't know, but everybody hates me, but they won't tell me why. They won't let me know. They're just saying, no, Dion, you're no good. And everywhere I go, my mom kicks me out every night. My father, all these different people in my life that were going to be a part of and left and abandoned me are there telling me how horrible I am. And I have to do that for hours. And so when I wake up, okay, sometimes in those dreams, I get so frustrated. I get so frustrated. I get so mad because nobody is listening to me. So I start killing them. It's scary shit. You ever shanked your own mother? This is serious stuff. This is what I go through. I love my mommy. Okay. And I'm not a violent person. I'm not. I'm not big into violence. I would much rather talk things out. I really would. Okay. Sometimes it does need to come down to a couple of blows. There's been times when I've gone to blows with a guy and we ended up being good friends. That's usually how it ends up working out, actually. Okay. So why am I talking about this? Because I know other people go through it too. And I know how fucking scary it is. I know how lonely it is. I know the fear. And I'm going to let you know your PTSD is not your resentments. Okay? Then that's what people will tell me, oh man, you got to work on resentments. I'm like, these are not resentments. I know resentments. Okay? These are thoughts which I don't want, that are just, they're not valid in the whole situation. Right? Hey, Michelle. Thank you for writing that earlier. I caught that. I don't have that many people on my page, guys. If you're a friend on my page, I don't add people very often. It's, it's like, okay, I need to add people on so I get more people to the group. And I just don't do that shit anymore. I don't, I keep the group safe and things like that. But so there's a big difference in my life where I used to be able to do a lot of certain things I just can't do anymore. Okay? Part of this comes from drinking. Okay? There are parts of my brain that are they're gone. I drank them away. It's quite often I have to go to my wife and ask. Hey, was it this time or was it that time? Because I can't rely on my brain like I used to. And then what comes worse with the PTSD is then they want to throw drugs at you everywhere, man. I am not on any meds for my PTSD. I'm not on any meds. I'm on my duloxetine, which I'm going off of. Slowly, very, very slowly. That's just a bitch. I'd rather come off alcohol again. I'm gonna knock on for Mike on that one, or knock on some kind of wood. I ain't going back out and drinking. You know what would happen if I drank? You would never see me again. I would disappear. I would be gone. I would not exist anymore. I would be dead. Because I would kill myself. My brain, that's what the brain's after. So, there are times when this whole world feels overwhelming, man. The whole thing feels overwhelming. I go outside and it's just, I feel attacked. And, I try and work through these things with self-awareness, but it wears you out, man. It wears you out. Okay. I'm getting ready to do the meeting. I'm going to have to go make a pot of coffee or I ain't even be halfway awake for it. So we're going to have the meeting on emotional sobriety. So if you guys want to join us, you should join us. I think it'll be a good one. I picked emotional sobriety because of the mood I'm in. But it's more than, we're not going to just sit down and say, well, my emotional sobriety. No, this is a real topic. It comes from a reading. And whenever we do the emotional sobriety, you got to do the reading with it. Right? Hey, Amber, it's good to see you. So the best thing about the 5:30 is I'm going to see my friends, and I kind of need that today. So I hope everybody can make it. I think it's going to be a good meeting. So that is life before and after, where, because even then, when I was doing really good, working for somebody was no good, but I owned my own businesses. I made decent money. I was busy all the time. Here's a really good, when Shannon and I first got together, I was 19, she was 17, 18, 16. I don't know. She could tell you. We were young. And I'd gotten sober. Okay. And we went out all the time. We'd go to the park. We went for walks. We go to the movies all the time. We go to meetings, do all this. That stuff, I really enjoyed doing those things. Okay. Since Shannon and I have gotten back together, we have not been to a single movie. It's been 13 years. I may be wrong on that. I'll have to ask her. But I don't think I have sat in a movie theater since we got back together. I can't. It's too much for me. I'm going to have to get up every 20 minutes and pace back and forth down the aisle. So a 2-hour movie is going to take me about 4.5 hours. I'm exaggerating, friends, on that last part. So, and it frustrates me. It pisses me off. Oh, yes, we went and saw Lincoln. Okay, so we've seen one. Did I sit all the way through it? I'm going to tell you guys, I don't remember going. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm going to tell you, it's starting to scare me. The cool thing is I can go back and watch TV shows I've watched before and not remember anything. I haven't been drinking. So it's kind of scary. I think I'm losing my mind. All right. Well, hopefully we'll see most of you in about 28 minutes. I love you all. Thanks for being here. Peace out and have a day. Bye-bye.